Hello, Mass Effect fans. Now, what I'm going to try to do with this video is I'm going to try to bridge the gap between what happened at the end of Mass Effect 3 and where Andromeda may be going. Of course, notice there were some keywords like think and may and all that stuff, so just pay attention and don't get your feathers ruffled if it doesn't coincide with what you think. This is my own little version. But before I do any of that, I'm going to go through a brief little history, starting with an event that happened in late 2012 all the way to about mid-2015. So here we go. In late 2012, BioWare announced they were going to start working on a new Mass Effect game. The first thing you gamers started asking them was, is it going to be called Mass Effect 4? Are we going to get to play as Commander Shepard? And if not, will we at least get to interact with Commander Shepard? BioWare's response was a resounding no. Fast forward to the summer of 2013. Casey Hudson asked this question. I think this was reported by GameSpot. He asked, do you want the next Mass Effect game to be a game where we're playing as Garrus as Archangel or Grunt and his rise to leading Arlac Company? Fast forward to the first quarter of 2014. Casey Hudson throws us a second question. And this question, I believe it was reported by GameSpot again. And this question was, do you want the next Mass Effect game to be a prequel or sequel? Now, GameSpot, while they didn't report the answer for the first question, Garrus versus Grunt, they did report an answer here. And overwhelmingly, sequel beat out prequel. So I was pretty stoked. Only problem is I do have a pessimistic side, as you could tell by the Star Wars video. And I started thinking, well, how direct or indirect would this sequel be? Would it take place 5 years later or 500 years later? That's my problem. I start thinking of the worst. Fast forward only a couple of months, which will put us in the summer of 2014. BioWare decides to make this statement. I believe this was reported by GameSpot, but I could be wrong. Now, this ties in with late 2012. You gamers were asking these questions. BioWare finally, I think, has had enough and decides to make a big, giant public statement to get the questions to go away. So I'm going to add in the inflections to those questions. Here we go. Damn gamers. No, you will not be playing as Commander Shepard, nor will you be interacting with him. But you will be visiting planets that Commander Shepard has either visited before or will visit after you leave. Now, I'm not going to repeat that. I want you to sit and stew on that. Just rewind it a little bit and play it again, please. Now, we fast forward to 2015. I saw 3 videos here on YouTube by 3 different channels that made me really want to do this video. The first one was by WatchMojo.com, then GameSpot, then Machinima. So I want to take time to answer those. Now, the first one was WatchMojo.com, and their video was called The Top 10 Video Games Where Your Character Dies at the End. Before I watched the video, I thought to myself, I wonder if they have the gall to put Commander Shepard in this lineup. Yeah, they did. As I watched that part, I thought to myself, there's no definitive proof that Commander Shepard is alive or dead. Nobody can claim victory. I've heard all the arguments from all 3 factions, from the indoctrination theory, which I fall into, the bad writing crowd, and the literal ending crowd. And nobody has pulled out the smoking gun. You know where the smoking gun is? BioWare has it, and they're not letting any of us see it. So take that one. Now, I also want to present you with some information, and I've just presented you with one a moment ago, that Commander Shepard is alive. I don't know in what capacity in this next game that you'll know Commander Shepard's alive, but according to BioWare, just themselves, sounds like Commander Shepard's alive. Now, I'm just wondering if it's a sequel or a parallel story. This is one thing that's been on my mind, and from the summer of 2014 to about the first quarter of 2015, I kind of thought it might be a parallel story, so I actually thought of a halfway decent one. I'm not going to go into it, but it was just something that was amusing me for a little while. But I don't think they're doing a parallel story. So, you have WatchMojo.com saying that Commander Shepard is dead. So I'm going to prove to you Commander Shepard isn't. Number one the first piece of evidence is the evidence that I just gave you a few moments ago, that you'll be visiting planets that Commander Shepard has already visited or will visit after you leave. That's for Andromeda. Okay, that sounds like while you're doing your thing, Commander Shepard's not doing his or her thing. If it's a sequel, Commander Shepard's still alive. Okay, moving on to the next piece of information. April 17th weekend, 2015, BioWare posted a tweet, and the tweet basically read, "Happy 139th birthday to Commander Shepard." I had to read this thing 4 or 5 different times. I just sat there looking at it, and I'd read it, and then I'd go, am I reading it right? I'd go back to the beginning and do it again. I had to make sure I knew what I was reading. Okay, let's analyze it for a moment. Commander Shepard was 32 in the year 2186, aka the Mass Effect 3 game. If Commander Shepard died, how's Commander Shepard still alive at 139? Lazarus Project 2.0? Is that what you're going to say? Okay, let's also take apart the happy birthday part. Do you wish happy birthdays to deceased people? Or have you ever heard of anybody doing this before? Have you ever heard of somebody call into a radio station and say, yes, and I want to give a happy birthday wish to Martin Luther King Jr. or John F. Kennedy? What do you think the host of the radio program would say? Hey, by the way, nobody does that to deceased people, and you need to crawl out from under that damn rock you're under. I think I'd say it, but I don't know how smart-ass you'd be. Moving on. Now let's take 139 minus 32. What do you have? You have 107. Is that another hint that Andromeda takes place 107 years into the future? It does look futuristic. The armor in the trailer for the N7 wearing character looks somewhat futuristic. The Mako looks drastically different than it did in Mass Effect or the Mass Effect trilogy, and the gun that the character walks off the screen with looks different than the guns we've been using in the Mass Effect trilogy. Now there's a channel here called EA Central. I don't know the guy. I don't know if he's affiliated with EA in any way. But according to him, BioWare made this statement, and I don't know when and where they made it. But they said that the character in the Andromeda trailer is with the N7 on the armor, and that's the only one I remember seeing, is not the character we'll be playing as. So why would they do that? Why wouldn't they show us the character we'll be playing as? And who the hell is the character with the big bubble helmet with the N7 insignia on the armor? Who is that character? Okay, who's N7? I only know of 2 people that are N7. One is Commander Shepard, and the other one is Captain Riley. Did that look like a female to you? To me, it looked male, unless my eyes were deceiving me. So it can't be Captain Riley. She's female. Had to be Commander Shepard in my book. But I digress. Moving on to GameSpot's video. Their video was called not the top, but the 7 things we don't want to see in the next Mass Effect game. Now I'm not gonna go across all 7 because I was either indifferent or I agreed with it. But I will talk about 2 of them. The first one being the weakest of the 2, and that is Commander Shepard's past squad mates. Now I know that the new character will not have any ties with, say, Jacob Taylor or Miranda, but if we do get to see those characters, it's not for our character's benefit, the new character. It's for our benefit, the gamer. I want to know where Miranda is. I want to know if she survived. I want to know if Jacob Taylor survived. And I'm not really worried about them joining up with the new character squad, even if the new character has a squad. I don't even know that yet. And I don't think you're going to be carrying on some kind of love interest or relationship with somebody who's, say Miranda, for instance. The new character's probably going to be anywhere from 25 to 35 years old. I don't think you're going to be carrying on some kind of relationship with Miranda, who's probably 143, 144 years old. I just don't see that. So I think GameSpot is kind of making a mountain out of a molehill here. It's not for the character's benefit or not Well, the character doesn't have any connection with those past squad mates, but those squad mates did not join Commander Shepard on the ship. They joined Commander Shepard at the end of 3 on Earth, but you didn't get to see him anymore. I want to know what happened to him as a gamer, as a fan. So it's not for our characters' benefit, it's for ours. So I wouldn't mind seeing them. But if they don't, then they don't. But I wouldn't mind seeing them. I have no problem. So I think that, like I said, GameSpot, I think you're getting making a mountain out of a molehill here. The second one is a bigger deal for me, and that has to do with the Reapers. I do not think Commander Shepard ever boarded the Citadel at the end of 3. So if Commander Shepard did not, the Reapers are still a threat. They're still around. And I think they should be in the game. Now, I understand their argument that, well, we don't want to see like Mass Effect 20. The Reapers are still around. They're still going. I understand that. I don't want to see them in a Mass Effect 20 game. I don't want to see that. But until you destroy them, they're going to be around. So if you don't destroy them, then you haven't beat them. I mean, does that not make any sense to anyone? So that is a big deal for me. And if Commander Shepard did survive the events of Mass Effect 3 and did not board the Citadel, then that means the Reapers are still around. No question. No more argument. But if Commander Shepard did board the Citadel, then I don't know how you make sense of any of it. We'll just have to wait and see. Now the last one has to do with Machinima. They made 2 points. They got the first one wrong. Matter of fact, their video was posted about 7 to 10 days after the April 17th weekend tweet that I talked about earlier in this vid. And they did not make any mention of the tweet, which I thought was kind of odd. So here goes the first point. They said this: confirmed, the next Mass Effect game will be called Mass Effect 4, which we know to not be true. So I'm hoping the second piece of information that they had is also false as well. And theirs was confirmed, the next Mass Effect game will have nothing to do with the previous Mass Effect trilogy. So that one I have a big problem with, because that means that all these little hints that Commander Shepard's still alive, the Reapers possibly are still around, is just red herrings. They're just meaningless bullshit. And I hope that's not the case. Now after this, I did watch about 5 videos. Back when I was, this was after I had watched the Machinima and all those videos. And I just decided to see what the rumor mill was saying about Mass Effect Andromeda. And I watched, well, actually I wanted to see if anybody was looking at it as a parallel story or a sequel. That's my main concern at the time. And only 1 out of 5 videos thought it was a parallel story. So I started to think, well, maybe it is a sequel. It is what I wanted, but who knows? So that's when I started really thinking it was a sequel. Now, I'm going to have to cut it short because I'm trying not to go too far over, 10, 12 minutes, but unfortunately I did with this one. So I'll see you in part 2.